Welcome to the Rangers Roost. Happy Monday. This is a weekly show where we sit down, we talk about what's going on in gaming, we talk about what's going on in film, we talk about screenwriting, we talk game development, we talk about Jump Rangers, we talk about what anybody wants to talk about, including myself. You'll notice that I have mastered the art of putting chat in my stream right there. There's the chat. So come on board and get famous. Let's do this. Um, I just realized that I forgot to post on my Discord that this is starting. So give me one quick sec. Let's make sure that that's all squared away. And then we'll get this show running. There's been some changes. I alluded to changes that were coming. They're here. Welcome. Um, yeah, I just got to grab this real quick. Doop, doop, doop. There we go. In the Discord. Bang. That's it. There we go. So, there's changes to the streaming schedule. There's changes to the whole plan for funding. We are now on Ko-Fi, ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Jump Rangers is where you find Jump Rangers from now on. In addition, I've taken the advice that I was talking about during last week. So we're going to be streaming for 4 hours on the days that we do stream. Although when there's a tabletop role-playing game, we're going to take about a 45-minute break in the middle of that time to make sure that everything's ready. There's a good chance we'll start streaming before that break is over, but I need time to switch over from one format to the other, not just in terms of the actual OBS infrastructure, but also in terms of rearranging my desk so I can run a tabletop role-playing game, and also the OBS stuff. So that's going to happen. Today is a 4-hour stream. We're going to start here at noon. We're going to go until 1:45 on the Rangers Roost. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I don't think Ipiluni would argue with the notion that I can keep talking for an hour and 45 minutes if I have to. Was no comments from Ipiluni. So that's how this is going to go. And then I will get off. I will get on OBS with Buster and Liz. I will make sure that everything's pretty there. We're going to have chat on the game streams as well. It shouldn't have taken me that long to get all that organized. You want to come introduce Gambit on stream? I don't know about that. Ipiluni is doubting their presentability. I say bah. This is Gambit. This is Gambit. Gambit is the new member of our home. Just got Gambit last Sunday, so it's been literally a week. Hi, Gambit. Not the X-Man, the chess move. Just to be clear. Right. Not that Gambit's a bad character. Gambit's not a bad character. So, so that's one thing. All of this reorganization is coming from just a refusal to fail. I can't put it any more simply than that. I'm not happy with the results that I'm getting for the time that I'm investing. I either gotta do it right or not do it, and I've gotten a clearer picture of what doing it right actually means. So that's how we're going to handle that, and I'm looking forward to it. I think the challenge isn't going to be so much the Jump Rangers streams because I am very committed to Jump Rangers. The challenge is going to be making time for fun streaming as well. I want to keep doing my Star Citizen streams, which means I'm going to be getting up some mornings as early as 5. I'm going to be coming in and starting my stream at 8, and we will go until noon. So it doesn't eat too much into the workday. And Gibbets Gambit's good. One problem with Gambit is that we have a baby Chihuahua. Gambit is a she's 10. She's small though, and um, and Gambit's a very friendly dog, full of play, full of energy. Gambit, I take Gambit to the park, and she wrestles with dogs without fear. And Lou is fragile and old, and was never that dog to begin with. So it's been tough for Lou. Lou feels very threatened by what can only be described as the bounding presence of Gambit. Gambit literally bounds. It's adorable. So yeah, bounds at you. So that's the streaming thing. We are going to be doing Rangers Roost at noon on Mondays from now on, and we'll play until it's time to start. Until it's time to start playing rookies. If there doesn't happen to be a rookies episode, we'll just keep going with Rangers Roost until 4 p.m. That's all right. Lou likes it on the back of the couch. Gambit hasn't figured out how to do elevated spaces yet, so that's convenient for Lou. So that's Mondays. Thursdays, I'm going to be doing my Ranger Stories stream and editing content that I already have for Jump Rangers. We're going to do that at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's a good opportunity for me to keep editing the book, for sure. I'm going to get through the rest of the data deck files first. And then we have data deck files on Saturday before we play metagame. So Saturday at noon, we'll log on, we'll do some writing together. We'll do that until about 2:45, and we'll get on with Federico and Ipiluni when that's happened. So, and when that doesn't happen, we'll just keep writing until 4. So we're gonna get in 6 hours or 4 hours. What am I saying? 12 hours of streaming on Jump Rangers every single week. If anybody's following my Star Citizen streams at twitch.tv/checker10, then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays I will start at 8 a.m. as close to 8 a.m. as I can, and then we'll carry on until noon. And Ipiluni is planning to start streaming Star Citizen as well, I'm told, potentially. So we may get Ipiluni participation, and I will certainly be showing up on Ipiluni streams on Tekker 10 as well. So that's the streaming plan. And I think it's going to help get a lot more work done with the editing, and I think it's going to help get a lot more work done as well on the tabletop role playing front. I think this is going to be really good for the it's going to be really good for the Ko-fi. I've already launched the $5 tier on Ko-fi. The $10 tier is going to involve call-ins here on the Rangers Roost. I need to build the OBS platform for that, but we don't have any $10 subscribers right now. There's going to be a weekly $10 a month subscriber chat, and we'll call that. So the beta access is the $5. You get access to all the beta gameplay materials and various other things, like the book, like a game called Conquest. Okay, so that's for the $5 a month. You get the material. Any visual development that we do, we'll be sort of posting intermittently, not all of it, but a good chunk of it, to share with people. We'll keep a few surprises in our back pockets. But for $10 a month, you get more interaction. You get calling into the Rangers Roost. You get weekly subscriber chat in Discord. You get once per month, we'll take requests and we'll do the most voted up request for a data deck on X or Y or Z. Periodic swag giveaways for that sweet Pavlovian, neurotransmitter release. And I'm excited about this because I want to make swag for Jump Rangers. I want to have stuff for Jump Rangers. I want Jump Rangers to have a physical presence in the universe, and I want this book to be done. Both of them. Both of them. I'm ready for these books to be done, and it's a long way before they're going to be. But I'm excited for that. And in the meantime, I want to make dice. I want to make enamel pins. I want to make all kinds of stuff. So um, there's going to be, and that's the $10 tier, and then there's going to be $100 tier, I think, with limited space, where I am running a game or two, and I think that would be good. And that honestly would pay for 2 weeks of Federico's time every month. That would be really good if I could fill those games up. So that's something to think about. That's the plan for Jump Rangers right now. The goals are basically twofold. Um, right now, Federico is working on some key art, and we need to get that key art finished. There's a couple of design things that we need to finish. We're working on the jumpsuit for the Jump Rangers. We're working on exactly what the armor of a Rexor Warlord looks like. And Federico's got some very neat ideas. He's fantastic. He's got a lot of really good ideas. So refining those two designs a little bit is where we are. Once that's done, we can get the key art done and make everything look a little bit prettier. That's nice. Yes. And then Ipiluni says pretty is good. And then from there, what we need to pay for next is the time of an expert layout artist to come in and talk with us about what it's going to take to make the Jump Rangers book, the core book for the tabletop role playing game, accessible to kids. We need to figure out how many illustrations we need, how much page space those, and what shape those illustrations need to come in, where the detail needs to go. Like for example, if you've played the Star Wars role playing game, you'll notice there's a lot of design schematics and less developed artwork for props and things to give you an idea of what the prop looks like, and you spend a lot more time um, on larger spreads that sort of create a more tonal pastiche for the project. So there's a lot of illustrations, but not all of those illustrations need to be at the same level of finish, and we need to figure out what that looks like and how it's going to stay engaging for kids, and that's going to be a challenge. Um, and then we need to start producing artwork and get the book done. Get the layout artist and the artists and Federico at the head of all that, designing and delivering the tabletop role playing book. So that's one of the two fronts, is getting that book finished as soon as we have key art for the social media. The other thing is the novel, which is my responsibility right now, and I may need to hire an editor. I think it would be wise. I've had conversations with people who say it is imperative to self publish, and I have had conversations with people who have said it is suicide to self publish. Knowing the entertainment industry as I do, I'm guessing it's both. um, that's not a conversation I've had before. We have a very different. Um, I've worked in film all of my adult life, basically. And when I haven't worked in film, I've worked in theater. So it's always been a performing art for me. Writing has always been something that I do as a structural tool and as an organizing tool for actors. And that's not necessarily true, because I have written a ton of articles and do it yourself guides and all kinds of things for people who are looking to break into film. But directing people has always been kind of what I'm doing when I write, at least since I was very young. And this is the first thing I've written sort of for other people to read, since I was 10. Um, I used to love writing for other people to read. And I think I just got tired of exhausting the people around me. I think I've grown out of that fear. I think I'm in a better place now. Um, I tell you, it's amazing that I'm still creative after all these years because there are a lot of traumas and that come with any career in entertainment. And I personally have a ton of rejection sensitivity. I I am professional in how I handle rejection. I'm very good at taking notes and working with notes and getting people what they want. Um, because I don't look at it as a self-fulfilling process to begin with. I look at it as an act of service and I want it to be successful. So I've got the mindset for that, but that doesn't make me happy. And I think that a lot of the people who know me well get very concerned and frustrated with how it how consistently it doesn't make me happy. And so I think on that level, this book has been something very scary for me. But I will tell you something else that I've learned in entertainment, which is that kids are the best audience. They'll tell you exactly what they think. They're not going to hold back. Um, if they're bored, they'll let you know. If they're having fun, they'll let you know. And so far, I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback on Jump Rangers. I think it's a good idea to get this book out there. And in the future, I'm sure I'll have a more producerial role in a lot of the content that gets created, but um, I'm the person here. So someone's got to write this book, and it's got to be me. So let's do it, and let's enjoy the process while we can. That's how I see it. Um, Here, I just got a note. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here. So, I have a little sip of water. There we go. Let's see if we've got any lurkers. Nope, just me right now, but that's okay. All of this content goes up on YouTube as well. So if you've missed any of our previous discussions, if you're interested in what's happening with the Rangers Roost, if you want to see any of the old games that we've played, you can get all of that information at youtube.com /at Jump Rangers. Let me switch my login here real quick. I'm not a fast typist. I see some people, and it's a very useful skill if you're going to be um, doing work while you're on a stream to be able to type very fast. And I see some of these people just blast right through, and I don't have that skill. That's okay. So, what else is there to talk about? So that's the short-term vision with Jump Rangers right now, is getting the core book finished and getting the novel finished. Um, at some point, I think it's going to be the case where the novel is going to be the first thing to come out, and we'll be using the novel as a platform by which to launch the tabletop role-playing game, probably either at Comic-Con or Gen Con. My producer is very experienced, my film producer, and somebody who's very interested in Jump Rangers. Lucinda Bruce, who was on one of our games, is extremely experienced when it comes to um, building press around Comic Con releases in particular. So I think that's probably where we're going to wind up. And a sort of a third stepping stone that Federico and I are working on now is a piece of animation just to showcase the look and feel and pace of Jump Rangers, how it's supposed to work. I actually have the audio files that I need to be working on to build a little animation pacing so he can do his animatic around that, and I haven't done that yet. Federico's been experimenting a lot with Unreal, which is getting very impressive in terms of what it can achieve. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to make something that at least gives people the idea of how this is all supposed to look and how it's all supposed to feel, and and really sell the cartooniness of it. And having that, we'll have more options and a better picture of at what point we can really start getting into Jump Rangers animation. We would like to be doing cartoons as soon as possible, and comics as well. Uh, I will probably end up writing the first couple comics. There's a lot of comic artists I know. There's a lot of people I'd love to work with. So as soon as we have the money for that, that's going to be something that we get into. And on the animation side, I've been producing animation since I moved to Los Angeles, which is 20 years ago. So um, I have people in that industry that I'd like to work with as well, and I think it would be a lot of fun to get back with some of the folks that I've enjoyed working with over the years, and bring the actors that I love working with in for voice work. I'm very involved in the voice work community, both through gaming and just through the friendships that I've had. I know some directors that I would love to bring into the booth and start making cool stuff there. So that's the sort of deeper, longer term plan and the things that we're doing right now to bring that plan to fruition. That's the strategy for Jump Rangers is start with the novel and the core book and start developing animation because we need something eye catching as soon as possible. Oh, look at that. I've got a Ko-fi stream bot, and it's doing me the solid of posting automatically right there on my stream. And now and you can see right there it shows up in my chat window and everything. This has been the first test of our little chat window. So I like that. That's good. Um so, if we don't have anything to talk about, I'm probably going to dig in and get some work done for the stream later today. The thing to do would be to go back over the plan for Buster and Liz, make sure that I like what I'm seeing and what I have on the page. I don't think anybody's watching right now, so there's no risk of spoilers for them. But I'll take a second and breathe first. I pretty much got everything done that I need to do, and this this what's it called, adventure that I've been running for Buster and Liz is something that I'm writing up as a supplement. So it'll be available to anyone who's a subscriber on the $5 level and up through the Ko-fi page. And I'll make sure that it's on the as soon as it's polished, as soon as it's done. And that's something we'll be doing in Ranger Stories. That's how this works. I flip that over to Ranger Stories. I polish it, I get it all written up so that it's got all the details that it needs to be an effective supplement. But I've already got 18 pages of material from this adventure that I've been running every so often. So that feels good. That's a new mission book. The next thing that I should write and the next thing that I should be working on once I finish or even really as soon as I start with the data deck files again. The very next thing I should be working on is the companion for what you call it, for a game called Conquest for the kids book. So on Saturday, I think the thing that I'll do is I'll start working on a game called Conquest as the second sort of meta arc mission file for Jump Rangers. The first meta arc mission file was the Undersoar Uprising or the Undersoar Alliance, which is the story of how basically Jump Rangers got Admiral Paxis the jump drives and the Saurian motherships that he needed to start actually building space carriers. and human motherships, and how his rise to power and his command of the space lanes came to be. Um, and his downfall happens over the course of he's one of the villains. He's one of the chief villains in my brain is mush. A game called Conquest. So that's something uh, that I need to sort of gamify. It's a good story, and what I always kind of wanted to do with a game called Conquest, which is the first novel, is turn it into something of an event in the Jump Rangers universe and in the development of Jump Rangers. And I will say this about Star Citizen: one of the things that they have instilled in me is an appreciation for the fact that events, game-wide events, and community-building events do not need to wait for the game to be finished. It's something you can and should be doing if you are in active development and if you're sharing that active development with your audience all the way along. And in fact, those kinds of events and those kinds of, you know, storytelling uh, nodes, you don't need to wait for the whole audience to be there to start telling the story, is what I'm trying to say. And the reason why you shouldn't is both because it brings people in and invests them in the lore, and it makes them feel like they're a part of the universe because they are. They were there when these things happened. And that gives them a sense of ownership over the material that you just don't get to give audiences if if everybody's experiencing those things for the first time together after the game's launch. The people who were there to do all this stuff beforehand don't have any kind of exclusivity to those experiences, then it doesn't quite feel as special to them. I think that there's a lot of power, for example, in the people who are supporting Star Citizen now being a part of the Xenothreat storyline, being a part of how Stanton and Pyro sort of define their relationship with one another, as opposed to just holding all this story until eventually the game launches. I think it's better not to. And the other thing that it helps you do is test. The more story you bring out and the more you involve audience members in that storytelling process as the game is developing, the more people you have putting pressure on your gameplay systems, which tells you where the problems are a lot more efficiently. And it helps you zero in on a better gameplay experience much more quickly. And apart from all the perks and apart from all the benefits that people might be getting for participating in that alpha process, it becomes true that their investment in the actual game is more real to them, not just because they helped you iron out the bugs, not just because they did free work for you, and not just because you expressed appreciation for that, but also because you told a story with them that is now part of the history of that world. And it's not something that, you know, you're keeping in your back pocket. You brought that experience out, everybody had it together, and you move on. And then you know, when the universe gets released to a wider audience, all of those stories are baked into the game and they're part of the lore and they're part of what new audience members and what new players are hearing about and learning about as they start to understand the game. And the people who were there at the time are the ones teaching them. And that helps allow the universe to take on more of a life of its own. And it helps, I think, players who are involved at an earlier point feel a much more legitimized and much more real sense of ownership over the material. I like it. So that's a thing. The one thing that's got me worried, there's two things that got me worried about this new streaming schedule. One of them is the work that I do, which is inherently time intensive. I I write screenplays incredibly fast. I might just need to slow down because it's not going to be as reasonable for me to do a screenplay in 5 days if I'm streaming 4 hours a day. Or maybe it will be. Maybe I just need to trust the process. We'll find out. Um, and the other thing is that we have new puppies, and our house is a game board too. I don't want to take myself off the board quite so much that I'm stranding my wife with all the duties of raising a new puppy. Although this new puppy is actually going to be a service animal eventually. I don't know if I've said anything about this, but Ipiluni, my wife, has been going blind and has been very blind for the last 2 years. And it turns out that it's a symptom of their celiac. Celiac is an autoimmune disorder. When celiac patients eat gluten, their immune system starts attacking what many believe was just the lining of their intestines, and you'd get a lot of internal bleeding. You wouldn't be able to digest foods and all kinds of things because of it. But it turns out that some celiac patients also are under attack in their nervous system, their cerebral cortex, their cerebellum, which are organs of the brain, and also the spinal cord and the optic nerve. And all of the symptoms that Epiluni has been having with their blindness, every single one of them is a symptom of celiac-related blindness and brain damage, which is called gluten ataxia. We've also had other diagnoses that seem very likely to be connected to the gluten ataxia as opposed to what was originally diagnosed. And that is huge news because it gives us a degree of control. So, Gambit is cute, Gambit is fun, but Gambit is not a toy. Gambit is an emergency relief worker, and the idea is to teach Gambit to be a gluten sniffing dog so that we can make Ipiluni's food that much more safe, especially when we're eating out. Because um, as many people probably know who would ever be watching this stream, I myself am a brain damage survivor. I was hit in the head with a sword back in 2013, and I can confirm that most of the symptoms Ipiluni is having make sense as brain damage, and and it's not something you want to live with if you don't have to, you know. It's not people. One of the craziest notions that people have out there about ableism is the idea that anyone would fake a disability, because even if you're faking it, having a disability is so inconvenient and so antithetical to how our world is built. It's so it's so alienating and stripping of your privilege that it doesn't it do, nobody nobody doesn't want privilege. Privilege isn't inherently evil. It's the way people behave when they have privilege that's evil. Ideally, everyone would have privilege and an opportunity. And nobody's going to throw those things away willingly. And there really isn't any benefit to disability that's so freaking fantastic. Nobody needs a parking placard that badly. It doesn't happen. Trust me. Yeah, there's a few people who think they do, but if they start pretending to be disabled to get it, they're going to learn the hard way. It's not going to last. Nobody deals with it unless they have to. So, um, so anyway, yep, Gambit's going to be a working dog, and I don't know if people know this or not, but the training that goes into gluten dogs and allergy dogs is the very same training that goes into police dogs, in particular drug dogs. Drug dogs are not like the most professional animals everywhere. Drug dogs are playing a game, and um, and it's fun for them, and they have to be kept in a playful state. They take rests and do whatever they do. If you ever gone through a checkpoint where there's always a drug dog, you'll notice sometimes the drug dog isn't there. They need to take a breather, do whatever they need to do to keep that dog happy and ready to go because they're just playing hide and seek. It's just that simple. You know, they're happy when they find what they're looking for. They're not cops. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Canines are not cops. Um, they're just dogs playing a game, and and you know, I think that it's going to be interesting to see that process unfold and to see that happen. That's something that's fun. Anyways, that's one thing, and I'm a little nervous about in the middle of all that committing to a streaming schedule that's literally 3 times as meaty as the one that I was involved in before. But when it comes to Jump Rangers, I have to. I need to start building an audience for this stuff. We need to get out there. And when it comes to my other activities, I honestly think that of all the things that I'm doing, Star Citizen is probably one of the things that can help Jump Rangers the most, and I enjoy it. I love it. So building a gaming community around myself, if I'm making games, it's it's not hard to see the logic in that. So that's something. I'm keeping my eye on the clock because I do have a hard out at 1:45. And in the meantime, maybe now is a good idea for me to um, pull up the stuff that I'm going to be doing with Liz and Buster and spend a little more time on it. I was late streaming because I was rushing to try and finish. And it's not polished. It's not, but it's there. I know what I need. And uh, they're going to be going up against some pretty heavy artillery. We'll talk about what's going on with Buster and Liz in just a second. Ippy is eating. What you eating? Lemon curd muffins. Delicious. They have a lemon curd at Trader Joe's, and Ippy loves it. It's just a fact. All right, so let me pull up what I need is the web address. Wow, that's a lot of windows. Okay, let's see here. 33 replies. Okay. All right, here we go. No. Quiet. Stop it. Things are trying to play at me while I'm on stream. Knock it off. Okay, here we go. Search for Spark. The search for Spark is a nod to Buster's very passionate Klingon fandom. Um, which is impossible to be overstated. Okay, so there's the file. Now, browser. Properties. Okay. And I'm going to click interact. I'm going to put my glasses on. Trying a new, this should, in theory, have me looking more at the camera. That's my goal here. Right? That's better than it has been. We can agree on that. And view. Full screen. Dismiss. Okay. I think this is good. So we're going to switch this over. And we can always switch back if we need chat. Alrighty, so these are what my sort of initial releases look like. This is what a document looks like when I publish it on the website. This is all the stuff that this is, oh, that's Casey Holmes, who is the quartermaster at Planet Link at Pax's base. Lux, Big Mouth. We've got stats on Possessed, Big Mouth. Infestation of the Heart is, oh, here we go. Lost Base. Infestation of the Heart is the initial contact. The Heart of the Loom is the scene that we're going to be getting into here. So here we go. Secrets of the Loom revealed. Ready? When the Loom built their main battery and when they started converting the citizens of the Loom Empire into energy beings, they knew these efforts would fundamentally change their culture and their way of life. At the same time, they also understood that the battery itself, once the sole repository for every Loom intelligence that had made the conversion, I'll just say for every Loom intelligence, would be a target for the Saurian horde and any other enemies they made along the way. Much as the process of entering the battery is ceremonial for the Loom, it's also the most secure place on planet Lumina. For this reason, the chamber is only accessible through a teleport pad. Massive amounts of power are used to activate the pad, which is in the center of the Loom's Capitol building, and their center in the middle, and their center of government. While the entrance to the Capitol building itself is exposed, embedded in a massive wall of governmental structures and adorned with an architectural of governmental structures, and adorned with an architectural entrance grand enough to suggest its significance, the teleport pad itself is through a massive hallway at the base. Is down a massive hallway at the base. Too many massives. At the base of a stadium-like council chamber, constructed like an arena, capable of seating the Loom that are still alive and representing the Loom in the battery with holograms. The council chamber was the last seat of formal government that the Loom ever needed. At the base of the chamber, the teleporter allowed the council to review every Loom citizen before they were allowed to join the collective. Once the pad is activated, anyone standing on it will be teleported to a chamber deep in the mantle, in the molten mantle of planet Lumina. Inside the battery chamber itself, the end of the battery's cylindrical shape looms like some kind of modestly operatic set piece. We don't need all that. Inside the battery chamber itself, in front of the battery's circular end, There's a coffin-sized chamber with a restraint chair built for the digitization of Loom intelligence. Nothing else occupies this room except for all the readouts, displays, and access panels that once allowed technicians to work on the battery itself. That once allowed technicians to work there. Well, the battery is powered by the magma surrounding it. I have a lot of its cells. Just checking my what you columns. Chat. Checking chat. The teleporter in the council chamber can only be powered by octonators. Numerous emergency octonators protected through the millennia by the thick casings that house them. Have been built into the council chambers. Systems, but the connecting cables to the teleporter have been chewed through. The teleporter is protected by plates of heavy alloy that serve as the floor and the ceiling. Of the transporter pad, the teleporter itself is in good working order. We just need the teleporter. Apart from a lack of power. Inside the council chambers, there are 16 spore bugs munching away at the floor, the walls, and all the conduits and tech they can find. After all these years, they haven't managed to eat through the special alloys that protect the precious teleporter and its backup octonators. But truly, it's just a matter of time before they do. Outside the Capitol building, 8 spore wasps keep watch. Excuse me. When the teleporter is used, a massive electromagnetic discharge will signal the spore that there is active technology here. All the spore wasps will come inside the council chambers, and another 8 spore wasps and another 16 spore bugs will start making their way towards the chamber from nearby hives. To date, no spore bug has managed to survive in the magma of a planet like Lumina long enough for them to find the battery. To find the Loom battery. So the battery chamber is a safe place for the heroes. Even so, the heroes will still need to penetrate the council chamber, repair the connections between the teleporter and at least one of the backup octonators, and teleport into the battery chamber itself. So many itselves. In order to retrieve Spark. When they do this, they'll realize that Spark isn't the only Loom intelligence trapped inside the battery. All told, there are 181 Loom intelligences. living there, surviving there, waiting for rescue. Although Spark is the only intelligence that Lux is concerned with saving. While the battery is roughly the size of a standard cargo container, and while it could be moved by a Jotun or a Spore Wasp, there's plenty of extra risk in doing so. Any technological device this big is going to be putting out a lot of power, even if the Jump Rangers find some way of powering it. Putting out a lot of energy. Remember, the only way out of the battery chamber is back through the teleporter through the council chamber and out the front doors of the Loom Capitol building. Or is it? The only way Lux knows to escape the battery chamber, at least as far as Lux is aware, is back to the teleporter through the council chamber and out the front doors of the Loom Capitol building. Okay. If the heroes can secure the council chamber itself, then it is possible to unlock one of the metal housings protecting the backup. Take one through the teleporter to power the battery. Unlocking the shielding without the help of a loom like Lux would be a roll of epic 10 difficulty. Requiring 10 victories. Okay. Lux knows more or less all of these details, and he's more than capable of briefing the Rangers and the readers of Lost Base on how the battery works. Will he? How much of this information do the heroes have, and how well prepared are they for the trial ahead? All of that depends on the role playing they've done leading up to their breach of the capital itself. Even if they survive the capital, and even if they emerge with the Loom refugees, the heroes will still need to lead their friends back to the Valhalla. I didn't really have as much to say about this, but we've spent plenty of time in the Valhalla. Huh. So long as our heroes and any colonists who might be tagging along with them can finish their fight at the Capitol building, or so long as they're able to escape without being tracked, they are the scouts that are guiding them can lead the party safely back to the Crash Valhalla with a successful challenging roll at difficulty 4. I lean very heavily on these challenging rolls. I will say I think I've done a pretty good job of appropriately labeling the difficulty chart, which I think is the difficulty chart is kind of the is one of the key sort of elements of any given role playing game. You know, knowing how hard things are to do in the game that you made, and not just telling yourself that they're a certain level of difficulty is actually a pretty challenging thing. And I think I've done a pretty good job of it. I like my difficulty chart. Sometimes I would like there to be more space between like 1 and 4. There's pretty reliably well tiered levels of difficulty going up from there. And I think, when characters get a lot of it, 7, 8, or 9 victories, when they start getting higher levels of victory, there's always a good reason for it. It's because they're using teamwork, or they're using the things that you should have to use in order to accomplish overwhelmingly challenging things. So I think that that's good. But sometimes I'm like, there should be more space between like easy and challenging. But really, I don't know. I think I think that if something isn't hard, you don't need to worry about it that much. Like the rules don't need to contend with it that much. And so I think it's fine. We're not playing this game to do easy things. Anyway, so long as our heroes and Ecolines want to tag along with them, yeah, difficulty 4. When the heroes reach the Valhalla, they'll notice the spore have chewed one hole into the Valhalla or the mothership for every single day that they've been away. For every hole in the ship, the storyteller should roll one die. The result of that die is the number of spores, bugs, currently chewing their way uh, through the hole, into the hole, into the hole. Use the same result to determine the difficulty of repairing any necessary systems that were damaged by the spore bugs in order to make the Valhalla and the mothership space-worthy for the colonists and any Loom refugees. In addition to the spore bugs, every hole in the mothership of the Valhalla is guarded by 2 spore wasps. While most of the hardware on board the mothership was cleared out during the evacuation. On Planet Link. A diligent sweep of the ship's structure will reveal a total of 3 Jotun robots, excluding the one the Valhalla's pilot used to attack the heroes in Scene 4, and 8 dwerge that could be used in the fight. When the spore bugs are cleared and the ship is repaired, it's time to bug out, and that means leave. For information on dwerge, please refer to mission file. The lightning job. Whoops. Whoops. That was crazy. I don't know what happened. But we can fix it. Properties. All right. View full screen. Dismiss. Mission file. The lightning job. There. There we go. So, scene 11, illumination. What time is it? 1:13. Back at Pax's base, of course, the heroes will be applauded for their heroism if they're thorough in grilling Commander Commander, about his intentions towards the Loom refugees. Towards the Loom refugees. They'll find him unwilling to give them straight answers beyond a certain point. They'll find him frustratingly unwilling. To give them any answers. To give them straight answers. At his core, Pseudopaxis is a spy master. Given the chance, he'll interrogate each and every loom the Rangers are willing to hand him. If the Rangers want to ensure the safety of Lux, Spark, and any other loom they may have rescued, and if they can't convince the commander to see reason when it comes to respecting them as their rights as refugees. Then they may need to take personal responsibility for setting up a new loom colony themselves. Maybe there's humans who will want to help. Maybe the loom will need to build their own future. Either way, it falls to the heroes to give the loom that chance. And thus begins an entirely new adventure. Please give each of your Rangers one strength die to add to their character sheets. Great job, Rangers. Go high and go far. So, on the other hand, the help rendered. The help our heroes have given to Lux and Spark have taught these loom that the intelligent beings of the universe can be stronger together when we all work together. Then we are maybe Lux isn't of the same, maybe Lux isn't capable of the same kinds of human connections that the Rangers share with your other friends. But they've made a friend in Lux. Nevertheless. That'll make Buster happy. If the Rangers aren't careful, and if the commander gets his hands on and Spark, on Lux and Spark, all that goodwill will be in jeopardy. So long as the Rangers don't alienate whether it's from whether they're getting blueprints for a loom tech from Lux and Spark, and the other loom, and the other refugees, or whether they're making. I forgot the name of the person who runs who's the quartermaster. Casey Holmes. At the, what you call it, Paxos Base Tech Shop. Rangers should be able to put their hands on some new gear. Or at least the means to build some for themselves. Or at least the means to invent some. If whatever happens next will be big mouths. His experience at the hands of Lux has changed him, and he needs to figure out what kind of grown-up he wants to be. Has shaken him. And it's time. Maybe on their last adventure together, the heroes can help him with that. Solve that puzzle. It's putting too much weight on it. All right, so I think that's good. That is the game that I will run for Buster and Liz. It'll be fun. I like it. These are the soldiers and the scouts from Lost Base. They're pretty tough. They're pretty good. If the heroes use them well, and if they use oh dang, I have to write up a character. Oh, all right. I knew there was something I was forgetting. We're gonna grab Jump Ranger's character sheet or print one. Let's see if we have any. I don't think I do. Okay. Let's see here. This is why I am going to be starting this game. I'm taking a 45-minute break. This is the reason. But I think If I print something, would you be willing to run and grab it for me, my love? If I print something, would you be willing to run and grab it for me? Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. We're in business. So, during our last session, there was an NPC named Gel, who is 6 years old and very psychic. Gel is going to be a jump ranger and is going to get trained by Bam Bam. And I need to write that character up. So that is what I'm going to do. I forgot that the printer was in here. It's right over there. Thank you, Fergus. Good job. All right. I like this streaming layout. This is good. So let's go back to the chat window. Thank you very much. All right. So Gel. So Gel's going to be a regular. So recruit. Gel's homeworld is Planet Lumina. Okay. So Gel has 1 die of body. Oh, thank you so much. 1 die of body. Let's see. And 12 dice otherwise. So that's 5. We'll give Gel 3 dice of heart. I don't think Gel's the most emotional kid. And lots of mind. Gel's very smart. So 5 dice of mind, 3 dice of heart, and that gives them room for 7 dice of spirit. 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait. Yeah, that's right. 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that's right. So Gel doesn't actually have any equipment. And Gel doesn't have basic training. Gel is trained in sneaking and hiding. That's it. Sneak and hide. But yeah, yeah. Let me close the window. Hang tight 1 sec. listen to the stream and tell me how bad it is? Thank you. I don't know that we're going to be able to avoid that sound. I am on Jump Rangers. Thank you. Okay. Okay. As long as it's professional, I'm good. As long as it doesn't, as long as it sounds like a professional stream, I'm good. Um, all right. All right. So, virtues. Psychic. Psychic. Honey, I'm not trying to make life hard. All right. Okay. Let me open up the window again. Hang tight 1 sec. Okay. So, jealous psychic. Um, I said jealous smart. And let's look up in the rules what 6-year-olds are. Let's see here. I have the, you know what? I need to pull up the character sheet, character creation. Making of a hero. Here we go. We have inspired. Psychic, smart, inspired. I like it. Psychic, smart, inspired, sneak, and hide. And no basic training just yet. They have to teach that to Jill. So I think that's good. I think that's everything I need from that character. The other stuff I'm going to need is to pull up my let's see, my spore queen and my spore wasp and spore locusts, my spore characters. I think that's it. I think that's just about everything I need. I have okay, eyeballs. My paperwork has gotten so convoluted that I think I should get rid of everything I don't need at this point. I think that's the way to go. All right. There is that. I am just about 20 minutes away from being ready to switch streams here. So, I've got to ask myself, is there anything else that anybody would want to talk about? Or is there anything else I want to talk about on this stream? Let's see. Or is there something else I can work on? Let's take a quick look. Well, one thing to talk about is exactly how to adapt the story of the book, right, into a tabletop adventure. There so one of the things that you learn playing the Star Wars tabletop role playing game, particularly the West End Star Wars tabletop role playing game, is that everybody kind of has their own Return of the Jedi, Battle of Endor story. For a long time, even in the lore, they would go out of their way, to put characters there and to explain which of the characters you caught a glimpse of on the screen was this character or that character. Authors, would do this. I remember reading the Michael Stackpole X-Wing books. There was a character named Tycho Kelku who was kind of the old man of the of Wedge's, squadron, and they were very specific in which A-wing was Tycho's. And I think that, you know, every role-playing troupe that is playing during the era of the rebellion is asking themselves, is there a secret mission that we're doing to help make the attack on the Death Star work, or are we captured by one of this? Everyone's got their own reason for being there, and this sort of sometimes often very convoluted, you know, rationale for putting all these characters in this one spot, even given how big the fleet was. There's just no way all these characters were there. And I wanted Conquest of Earth to be something like that. I wanted Conquest of Earth to be a rallying point for the Jump Rangers. And I want it to reflect the fact that Jump Rangers look out for each other. So, I got to reread the book and work on it and edit it some more, but there's a couple of points here. Slappy does get captured, and they have to rescue him. Uncle Slappy gets put in prison for helping the heroes, and all the Rangers that happen to be at Pax's base also get captured. And I don't necessarily want to put Rangers in a position where they have to get captured. You know what I mean? If I send Rangers to save Slappy, and Slappy gets saved in the book, does that mean that the Rangers that I'm sending can't do their jobs? And does that mean that the game is rigged? Or do they get there after? So one of two things would have to happen. the heroes would need to start the story in prison. See, I thought I was leaving lots of opportunities here, but I don't think I did. Okay. There's other ways to look at this. So, one of the things that happens, and the reason why Uncle Slappy gets captured in the first place, is because the heroes of the book go to talk to Admiral Paxis in order to ask for his help in freeing Earth and bringing the spore to Earth. Spoilers, right? And he ambushes them. He ambushes them, and he captures them. And the Rangers have to break out of the cavalry, out of his brig, which they do. So what if word got out that Admiral Paxis was a risk and a danger? I think that's the better way to go. Right? Because they go back to Slappy and they tell Slappy, and Slappy's going to start telling Rangers. Rangers are going to start telling other Rangers. So, what if it became the job of the Jump Rangers who are receiving this message to figure out what's going on and to find a way to help? And that effort leads them back to Earth to fight and help make sure that the spores make it to Earth and that it works the way it's supposed to. Because that's kind of an investigation story. They have to find out what what Paxis is trying to cover up. There's something there. I think that's got to be the way in. I think that's the better approach. Well, here's something I can say. If we keep doing these 4-hour streams and we push these streams longer than I have been pushing them in the past, we're going to get a lot more done on Jump Rangers. There's going to be a lot more progress. We're 2 minutes to closing time. I don't really have anything else to say other than I'm going to log off, but I'm going to log right back on at 2:30, probably a little bit earlier with Buster and Liz. We're going to play some Jump Rangers. We're going to play the rookies. We're going to play through that game that you just saw. So please check it out. Please watch. Um, Thursday at 3, I'm going to log in and we're gonna work on cleaning up the the whatchamacallums, the data deck files. We're gonna blast through some data deck files for a few hours, get some work done, republish the ones that we touch, and bring everything up to Jump Rangers 2.0 standards. Then on Saturday, we do not have a metagame on Saturday, so we're just gonna log right in and probably start working on. I think the thing to work on first is because it's almost done, get the search for Spark written up as an adventure and do that. So we'll do that first because the scenes are already laid in. There's just stuff that I need to pull from other data decks and pad it out, make the book a little bit more complete. And take all the concepts that I put in that book and put them in the data deck as well. So one thing that I have done here, which I think is kind of interesting, is I've given myself two different it seems to be doing the same thing. That's a little frustrating. I've given myself two different whatchamacallums. Two different windows to flip between in terms of switching from one document to another. But I think I perhaps have relied on the same browser instance in both. So what I need to do is change that out and fix it, which I will do. So change out and fix browser instances. Browser instances in OBS is something I need to do this week. So I'm going to take 15 minutes, get myself cleaned up, make myself a little coffee, get some refreshing water, get ready for the rookies. I'll see you in a little bit. Don't be a stranger, Ranger.